all of my analysis of Donald Trump, I basically shifted gears to this entirely over the last few months. I just analyze him as like an influencer, and I think that that describes most of his behavior. He
Yeah.
operates in a way that he can just capture so much attention. That's all he wants.
Right, but the reason why I think it's so important to work with Trump rather than to try to say we're going to get rid of Trump and then we're going to fix things. Like I think that's a losing proposition to say we're going to get rid of Trump and then fix things, because Trump represents taking risk, and the thing that the establishment really has tried to avoid is to avoid taking risk. We're trying to avoid further harming the most marginal communities.
In this video, Destiny claps back at this Trump-supporting liberal in this live debate stage. So Destiny kicks things off by calling Trump exactly what he is, an attention-seeking influencer, not a real political leader. But then this self-proclaimed liberal just jumps in with this bizarre take that working with Trump is actually a smart move, because apparently, Trump represents risk-taking and disruption. And from there, it just gets even messier. Like, this guy starts defending Peterson, blaming Democrats for not understanding Republicans, and claiming liberals basically run rational thought while Trump just tries to destroy academia. And Destiny's not having any of it. And yeah, he claps back hard. So make sure to watch till the end to see how Destiny claps back at this Trump-supporting liberal in this live debate stage.
In the most marginal populations, because when you do something radical, when you do something big, it's going to disturb the system, and the people with the least amount of resources are going to be the most vulnerable to manage that transition.
I would agree with you, but the issue is that he's just so far off in another world. It's not.
That's the entire Republican Party.
I know,
But
it's not good.
so this is what I'm saying, that
Yeah.
if you want to engage with the Republican Party, you have to start somewhere, and we may as well
You
start
can,
with
but
Trump.
the problem is if you negotiate almost anything with that side, you've lost fundamentally all the aspects that make America America.
Why?
Because Donald Trump fundamentally doesn't believe in rule of law or democracy or separation of powers or the
I
Constitution.
don't know if that's true.
Which part do you want to go into? He doesn't believe in separation
No,
of
no, no.
powers because he believes that he has the ability to
No,
fight
no.
with the judiciary anytime he wants. He doesn't
I-
believe in
I
rule of
believe
law
that he-
because
he
he's literally has
believes
criminal
in- I
immunity. He's a
believe-
convicted felon. Yeah.
I mean, I agree with you that he is not acting as if he believes in those things. However, I think he's just an opportunist, right? Like, he doesn't believe in anything.
I agree with that kind of. Yeah.
So it doesn't. So
But you can't work with an opportunist. This is a cancer, right?
Sure you can, because the whole point of liberalism is that when you work together with other people, that's the best thing for everyone.
No, the point of liberalism is everybody involved has to believe in liberalism for it to work.
Well, no, because you have like, liberalism is all about individuals. It's all about how everyone comes to the table with their own idea, with their own wants, and even you can say everyone is just ultimately selfish, and still liberalism works under those conditions. That,
I mean, would you consider it a liberal? If 80% of us all across the country agreed to abolish the Constitution, are we still a liberal society?
well, I mean, like, what did we replace it with? Like, did we replace it with nothing?
Or with a king?
With a king? I mean,
Because you could do that. I mean, our Constitution could be amended, theoretically. That is possible. I'm just saying that for liberal, something that I think people don't give enough credit for is in any given group, everybody kind of has to agree to play by a set of rules. And when you start breaking those rules, you step out of bounds a little bit. A little bit can be tolerated with, and you can negotiate a person back, but you can't you can't play with somebody who wants to play completely outside of the rules. If you had a sibling and
no,
you played
I disagree with that.
there's a difference
can.
between like playing with somebody who, like, if you played like chess with a sibling and they make a bad move and you're like, I'll let you take that back. Okay.
Well, then you just play a different game. You play the game that they want to play.
Yeah, but the game we want to play is democracy. And if they want to play a different game, we don't want to play that game. But that's what I was saying. We're playing the different game means we're fundamentally losing.
You can't just assume and assert that they don't want to play democracy.
I don't have to assume it. I just listen to what he says and what he does.
So right here is where Destiny just starts going off. The liberal dude makes this big philosophical plea about how bold moves can shake up the system, but admits that the most vulnerable people are the ones who get hit hardest in that chaos. Like, he's acknowledging collateral damage but still wants to roll the dice with Trump. Destiny just immediately clocks that and just pushes back hard though, saying Trump doesn't even believe in the rule of law, democracy, or even basic constitutional principles. And instead of addressing any of that directly, the guy just shrugs it off with he's an opportunist, as if that somehow makes it better. Like, that's the defense? That he believes in nothing? Bro, Destiny literally calls that what it is, working with cancer. And he's right. You can't build bridges with someone who's already bulldozed the road. Then it just spirals. The guy argues liberalism works even when nobody buys into it, like it's some kind of magical self-sustaining force. Destiny's example, abolishing the constitution, calling it liberalism, is exactly the kind of pushback this needed. You can't just play liberal democracy game with people who've already flipped the board and called themselves king.
Well, like maybe he's doing that because he gets so much pushback from the Democrats, right? Like maybe he's doing that because no one actually understands.
I think that that's a totally valid excuse when you're
No.
15.
I'm not
but if you're the
talking
president of the United
about
States,
Donald Trump. I'm talking about Republicans in general. That
they need better leadership.
No. Like Democrats do not understand what Republicans want. Like no one is talking about the fact that Republicans don't give a shit about the material conditions. And they say
That's fine that they can say that, but all they cried about for the last election was material.
Well,
so what are we supposed to believe? It was supposed to be the cost of everything was too high.
The only person that really talked about this is Jordan Peterson. And what happened to Jordan Peterson is he got ejected.
Because Jordan Peterson doesn't just talk about it. He talks about a lot of crazy shit.
What I'm saying is, it shouldn't just be Jordan Peterson talking about meaning and trying to put some scaffold around what meaning is, right? Like, there should be more people talking about it. And Jordan Peterson has his own idiosyncratic ideas that aren't all correct.
I don't disagree with what you're saying. I'm not sure if politicians are the best place to get meaning from, because that's a
So what I'm saying is, it's the fact that academia and the elite and the establishment as a whole have not given people the words to talk about their crisis of meaning.
Yeah, but usually doesn't come from there. It usually comes from our culture, right?
No, a lot of the articulation, the way that people talk about things, it comes from the top. It comes from the people that are having intelligent conversations about it. Like liberalism didn't come from the culture; it came from academia.
I could be wrong on this because I haven't studied this area, so I'm on very unsure ground. But like my guess would be more that
Me too.
That the culture dictates. So people that are making movies and music are probably going to be dictating what our conversations are more than somebody in an academic institution writing a paper about sociology or something.
Like it comes from like those underground, like feminism came from underground academic conversations. Liberalism also it came from like established institutions, right? And so a lot of that. Like,
sure, but we're not talking about necessarily feminism or
one
liberalism. We're talking about just kind of like narrative or purpose, right? It's a little bit different.
Well, I don't know, because the feminism movement is what gave women the language and the articulation to say what their grievances were and say it in an intelligent way and say it in such a way that they got men on their side.
So this is where things just get super messy and kinda hilarious because the liberal Trump supporter just starts spiraling into this weird blend of pseudo-intellectual defense mixed with Jordan Peterson fanboy energy. Like he literally says Trump and Republicans might just be misunderstood because they don't feel seen by Democrats. And Destiny just shuts that down with, yeah, that's a valid excuse when you're 15. But then it gets even worse. The guy says the only person who tried to give Republicans language to express meaning was Jordan Peterson, and acts like academia failed because they didn't embrace him. Bro, Destiny tries to stay respectful, but even he has to point out that Peterson talks about a lot of unhinged stuff. And he's right. Pearson wasn't ejected for being profound. He flamed out for going full culture war nutjob. And what's wild is that this guy genuinely believes that ideas like liberalism and feminism only came from top-down academia, as if movies, music, and everyday culture doesn't shape how people actually think. Destiny just keeps it real. He admits he's not an expert, but still lands the more grounded point here. Culture, not ivory tower lectures, is what people actually resonate with.
What do you think? What do you think it should come from?
I think it should come from academia. I think more people should have worked with Jordan Peterson, took him more seriously, and said, how do we articulate this lack of meaning? And because when there is nothing to articulate, then we're going to talk about economics. Then we're going to talk about economics. Like, of course, because if
do you think Jordan Peterson was effective in his approach to academia, saying all of it was rigged and that he didn't trust like 15
I think Jordan Peterson was idiosyncratic, and he made a lot of blunders, and he was disagreeable with people, and he could have been great, but he fumbled the bag. I think
you got about 1 minute there, Benjamin.
Yeah, I think I lost my train of thought.
That was my fault. Sorry.
Let me see if I can.
You said Peterson fumbled the bag. I asked you because I feel like it's just so weird because I think like because Democrats are the only people who are willing to ever self-reflect, that Republicans are just unimpeachable when it comes to questioning motives or questioning like understanding people. Because like Jordan Peterson would say that like, well, all these trans people, they just want to make it so that they can compel me to speak about their pronouns in this way. And it's like that's probably not really what most people care about, right? But like, so he's doing the exact same thing, but for some reason it's liberals that have to analyze ourselves for why we're so mean and fucked up.
We don't have to analyze ourselves. We're in control of academia. That's why we have to do it. We're in control of any rational thought.
Sure, but like MAGA is literally,
not rational.
I would say metaphorically, before MAGA was opposed to academia, now now, literally today, Trump is trying to destroy academia. So
Well, yeah, and this is the thing.
So
like,
do you think
we
Republicans are going to
we
be?
need to fix this. This is critical that we fix this.
Okay, but right now Trump is trying to pull funding from places, and he's trying to blackmail places to get them to
I know.
change their curriculum and everything. So
I don't like it, but I think if we don't do something about it, if we don't moderate,
So
it's
do you
going to get
is
worse.
it- do-
and
so-
there's going to be.
but you think there's a path to redemption, capitulating in the eyes of what he's trying to destroy the
I
very
don't have
thing they're
time
trying
to.
to reform?
I don't have time to get
Okay.
into it, but I do think there is a path to redemption, like a concrete one. But I think I'll end on. Like I was talking to Trey earlier today, and he was telling me about like he's a very successful guy. Like he's got a job, he's got a family, he's just became a father. So congratulations to Trey. I think, and he talked to me about like he's got 2 houses, he's renting out one, and so it's like, but he feels the economic strain. And so how is someone like that, someone so successful, feeling economic strain, feeling rising grocery prices? How is he feeling that? And I think it's because he feels like, and I think I feel this way, that what are we aiming toward? What are we angling toward as a society? Like what is beyond just this material wealth? And it's and the thing is, of course, if you have enough money, you can create your own meaning. And so it's like when prices start going up, when housing gets harder, it's not that we're struggling to survive. It's that it's eating into my ability to go beyond, to really tell a story that I'm proud of, and I think that those beyond me will be proud of. And I think that is something that we really need to think about more rigorously and try to give that language to everyone, so they can say something beyond just, I don't like inflation.
So yeah, this liberal Trump voter just ends the debate by trying to tie it all together with some long-winded reflection on meaning, inflation, and I guess personal legacy. And while it all sounds kinda poetic, Destiny just already exposed the real issue. You can't seriously talk about fixing society's crisis of meaning when defending a guy actively torching its foundations. Like, come on. Pearson fumbled the bag, Trump's gutting academia, and somehow the solution is more empathy to the side dismantling everything. Destiny just keeps it grounded the whole time, calling out all the BS, fake intellectual martyrdom, and just a complete refusal to hold Republicans to the same standards liberals are constantly judged by. And meanwhile, this dude just keeps trying to justify working with people who don't even believe in the game we're playing. And at the end of the day, one side brought facts and clarity, and the other was just straight up blind bias. And speaking of bias, are you getting tired of getting news from biased news sources? One outlet says one thing, and another says the complete opposite? How are you supposed to know what's actually true? That's where ground news comes in. It lets you compare how different media outlets, whether it's left, right, or center, are covering the same story. So you can see the full picture instead of just the echo chamber. And here's the best part. Click the link in the description and get a 40% off the Vantage tier, which gives you even deeper insights in media bias and political trends. So stay informed, think for yourself, and check out ground news in the description down below.